Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Dan Reed.
Hi.
I'm gonna interview you. I wanna ask you some questions.
Sounds good.
Because I would like people to know more about you.
Well, thank you.
Because you are an amazing man, I think.
Thank you very much.
Happy to meet you.
Oh, it's an honor to meet you too. He's been a really good friend in my life,
Yeah.
for sure.
And this night was amazing.
You enjoyed it?
This venue.
Yeah, it's magic, right?
Really great.
I was told it's the biggest private house in Sweden next to the King's house.
It is.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. Built in the 1600s or 1500s,
Wow.
like 100 years before my country even existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an honor to play here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could be here.
Yeah, great. So you told me when you were singing tonight about the Tibetan monks. You lived with them.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about?
Yeah, I was there in Dharamsala back in 1992 up in northern India to interview the Dalai Lama for a magazine, and that's when I kind of fell in love with the area of the world, to see kind of the whole Tibetan culture alive and well in northern India, much more so than in Tibet, because China's kind of ruined that. But it was very inspiring to me to see a whole culture that's based on showing each other respect and using compassion as a form of communication, as opposed to judging people or anger or building fences that are trying to tear them down in the world and in the universe, really. That was really exciting to me. So when I was trying to find myself again, find my center, or get grounded after my father passed away, I felt like going back to that area in 2003 was a good idea for me. I didn't know it was going to blossom into meeting these wonderful monks that invited me to live amongst them, but that was a blessing, and I got to learn a lot from them. They have a great sense of humor. They're badass ping pong players.
They are.
Yeah, really, really great ping pong players. And yet they don't have any, there's no internet or cell phones or any of that. So it's really about connection and being there for the community. And a lot about gratitude. I think that's the main lesson that Buddhism teaches, is how to be grateful. Because the very first meditation you learn is about appreciating the breath, inhaling and exhaling. And if you can be grateful for every breath you take, which is so many throughout the day, then imagine how much gratitude you'll have for the meal that you eat, or warm hot water that comes out of the tap, or good friends, or a career, being able to take care of your family and friends. And so that was the best lesson I learned from them. It was about gratitude.
Really cool.
Yeah, good times, for sure.
Yeah. So, where is the most beautiful place you have been to?
Oof, I would say Guatemala. There's a lake up in the mountains called Lake Atitlan, which is surrounded by 3 dormant volcanoes. And there's villages on the lake that you can only get to by boat. So there's no car noise, no city life. You take a boat there, and it's these little villages that are underneath these palm trees. It's totally like plush green, tropical type environment, and it's filled with just smiling faces and really happy people, mostly Guatemalan people. There's a lot of expats that live there that are running yoga shops or juice bars or making textiles, making clothing and artwork. So you'll run into the hippies of now as opposed to the 60s, but they're really open-minded, kind people. They all go swimming every day, take a swimming break and go into the lake. Really laid-back lifestyle. So it's beautiful not only nature-wise, but it's beautiful energetically as well. So that to me is probably my favorite place in the world.
Sounds like a great place.
It's amazing.
Great. Do you have any dream that you haven't fulfilled yet?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, one of them is I really like to go on expedition down in Antarctica. That's always been a dream of mine. It's so barren and you would think it's the last place in the world that a human being should exist, and really, and it's true. But at the same time, there's something about that starkness, like I would love to go to Mars, and a lot of people go, Mars sucks because it's cold and there's no water. But for me, that idea of isolation, that's probably one of the reasons why I like Guatemala too, is because you're just unplugged from the world. That's why I like Northern India, living at the monastery. No emails, no phone calls, no bills to pay. It's just kind of, you're just focused on whatever is in front of you. And I think Antarctica would be probably the quintessential version of that. It would be the pinnacle of isolation. And to me, that's quite appealing. You know, I would love to do that for like a year. I would like to live in Antarctica for a year by myself. Maybe befriend a polar bear, feed him a lot, preferably not my leg. But yeah, that's one of my dreams. I'd also love to go into outer space. That would be something that's really exciting to me. But I'm not necessarily into it as a tourist. You know, like Virgin's going to send people up into space as tourists. That doesn't really interest me. The idea of becoming an astronaut interests me. So I think that dream I have to wait for the next life.
So much.
A little too old to start becoming an astronaut.
Maybe.
Maybe they need music up in space.
Yeah.
Could you play a concert for us in space? Yeah, I'm your man.
Of course they do. So, which one of your songs do you like to play?
I enjoy playing them all, to be honest. Yeah, I think they're all a challenge for different reasons, but I think if you sing a song as if it's the first time you sing it, if you sing it with its original intention of why you wrote it and where you wrote it, where were you at in your life when you wrote it, if you sing that song with that intention, then it always feels fairly new. It's not brand new, but it feels new. They say relationships, it's the same thing. If you're in a love relationship with another human being, that you have to kind of keep giving it life, or it can die on the vine, right? So it's the same thing with a song. If you just go through the motions, I love you, honey, love you too, good morning, good morning. You know, if you just go through the motions with the song, it'll die too, you know, and you feel like you're just on a treadmill. Fortunately, I don't feel that way. And these are lessons I learned also from the monks too, about appreciating every moment. And so I'm trying to do that when I'm singing a song. When I sing the first verse, I'm not thinking about the chorus, or I'm not thinking about the next song, or I'm not thinking about getting paid after I'm done playing. You know, none of that stuff's in my mind. It's all about those words coming out of my mouth at that moment. So I enjoy them all very much. There's songs that I feel are like the ones that connect to the audience the most. Like On Your Side to me is one of those songs that I feel the audience gets more out of it than my other songs maybe. But that doesn't mean I enjoy it more. It's just I know there's a song I can go to that's kind of a safe song, Rainbow Child or songs like that. But yeah, for me, I don't have any. I love all my children.
Great.
I love them all.
Where do you get the inspirations for your songs?
There's two directions. One is true life stories, you know, real experiences that I've gone through, people I've met, or stories I've heard, or something I've read in the newspaper. Some of my favorite filmmakers are the Coen brothers. They make Raising Arizona, and tons of great films. But I heard story from them that they sit as brothers reading the morning paper, and they drink coffee, or I don't know what they drink, maybe they drink whiskey, I don't know. But, and they're reading the morning paper, and they read a story, and they go, what do you think about this for a movie? You know, and that to me has always intrigued me. So I do that a lot. I'll like hear a story or read something, and I go, how can I turn that into a song? So that happens. And then there's stories I witness in life. People say something backstage or on a train somewhere, tell me a story about their life, and oh, that would be really fun to try to, how can I turn that into a song, you know?
Do you write it down? Or?
Oh yeah, I do. I write it on my phone now. I don't write it with a pen and paper now like I used to. But yeah, so those kind of things happen a lot. And then sometimes there's things that I really want, I think, that I want to say, because I'm pissed off about the world or something. And I want to say something, I want to turn that anger into a song that has some kind of light in it, some kind of hope or insight out of my anger, turn it into fuel. There was a great quote by Gandhi where he said, anger turned into anger can be great fuel to do positive change. You know, and I've always thought, that's always stuck with me. So all my music, even if it sounds positive, which it is, I hope, 50% of it's based on me being pissed off about the world. For sure. Okay. I'm just like, oh, I'm either going to write this song or I'm going to kill somebody. You know? So, no, that happens a lot too. And then there's things I just make up. Because there's a song that is missing on the record. Yeah. Like there's this tone or a story that I'm trying. Every album I try to make it into like a film or a movie. And there's a theme to it. And there's like the big guns fight scene is missing or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or the happy ending is missing. Or the apology is missing. Something's missing in the story. So I'll go, oh, I need to write a song about that. Yeah. And then that's just completely out of the imagination. That's the least that happens. Most of it's based off of some kind of reality.
Yeah, great. Tell me about your biggest musical moments.
The one that changed my life, there's two of them really, but one was the first time I heard Van Halen. I was going into band practice with my trumpet, and I think I was 15. Yeah, 15. And I heard the first Van Halen record, and the first song was Running with the Devil. And I set my trumpet, I think I quit band the next day, like trumpet. Yeah. The next day. Okay. So I gotta say, that's probably the biggest musical moment for me. Yeah. It was like, I was like, I'm gonna be like Chuck Mangione, I'm gonna be a famous trumpet player. Don't run with the devil. What the fuck is it? So, you know, that was the end of my trumpet days. Yeah. And so that was a big one. And then the second one was seeing Prince live. I saw him in 1990. We were touring with the Rolling Stones, and I was pretty full of myself thinking, wow, we're on tour with the Stones, you know, we got a new album out. Yeah. We had 2 albums with Polygram, we're working with big managers and on the cover of magazines and doing all this stuff. And so I was like, I wasn't an egomaniac, but I definitely was proud, let's say. I was proud of where I was at. Yeah. And we just opened up for the Rolling Stones at Wembley Stadium, 60,000 people, right? And I was like, yeah, we're the shit, yeah. And they said, hey, Prince is playing at Wembley Arena across the road. Do you want to go check him out, right? And I've already seen the Stones a few times, so I was like, yeah, I'll skip their set tonight and I'll go watch Prince. Yeah. And we came back to the backstage because we got invited through some crew members that knew our crew members. Okay. And I just came from behind the stage, and all I could see was 12,000 people, or maybe it was 20, I don't know what the arena is, all on their feet dancing. To Party Man. Yeah. And I'd never seen a Coliseum dancing. I've been to see Journey, Van Halen, AC/DC, tons of big bands, and I've been at arenas before, right? Yeah. And nothing was like this. Just everybody dancing. It's like, what the fuck? I came around the speaker cabinet, and I turned around, and here's this guy in high heels, red, I don't know what, velvet suit on or something, playing guitar, doing the splits, spinning around in circles and singing his ass off, and I just went, wow. And I had just come off the stage with the Stones, and it was the most humbling experience I've ever had in my life. Yeah. I was just like, now that guy's doing it totally right. You know, that is now the new benchmark for me to try to reach toward, you know. And then we got a 1-2 punch. I think next 6 months later, Nirvana came out and just changed the music business. Yeah. So I was blown away by Prince live and Nirvana by their darkness, and I was like, ah! So I just quit the music business. So right in the height of our career, I walked away from it. But, yeah.
Thank God you were back.
I'm back. I wish I would have figured out then I could have done what I'm doing now, but it took time to figure that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really great to listen to you. Yeah. And people out there, check Dan Reed out, listen to his CDs.
and check out her jewelry. Check out Helene's jewelry. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for being my friend.
Oh, thank you for being my friend. That's sweet of you.
Bye.
Nice questions.